children, mortality was 40, 50%.
They have good PR staff for that.
Quite a number of
Me.
pretty much expected.
I don't know.
One of them's actually 5 years old, more than double.
Hurt me.
You know, this is not.
Genealogy.
He kept his eyes open.
And what,
I read that in the first century, there was about 50% mortality and another large percentage
I've had a park right around. Yeah.
due to disease and war.
How about Mother Day?
I know, can you imagine?
Frisbees for shine
It's harder nowadays because his grandmother has real life.
He doesn't use email or doesn't use text.
Child death of 5 is really like the good old days.
We're gonna live stream it. It's got Brian on the other side. He's got me on this side.
I remember reading
So Saudi Arabia, a horse breeder, and another Arabian horse breeder, and
Realtors reading my report.
all over America already, in Canada, I've already been seeing the story.
So the stats could be very interesting.
I know. Do we do location stats yet? I know, like, people are read that, like at IP addresses. Maybe I need to. Since it started in business, and I'd like to tease it.
They do on the
Up on a step.
Oh, yeah.
that'll sell in 2 weeks.
Volunteers. Good idea. Emily can be everywhere at once.
Oh yeah, they're starting to do some meetings and stuff.
yeah, they have some very tall
So I was mentioning that there's international
Considered going up there.
awareness of the how to get some
years ago. They had
I've been busy, Brian.
bike ride from the top of Hollywood down.
I've been busy, Brian.
So you had to get to this place. It could be picked up at like 3:30 or 4 in the morning. So when we were there, we took our kids there last month.
I still think we should get like a green building that's at the doorway.
So we got up there and watched the sunrise. And then you get on the bike.
We've talked about the first 2 miles.
So
Hello. Are we good?
You're not good. Why is that?
Am I not good? Now I'm good. Went from not good to good. I'm progressing. So, we are about to begin. Thank everyone for coming. I'm not sure if we're broadcasting yet or not. Are we broadcasting yet? We are live. Well then, welcome, brave people that made it through the storm, which was minor. Winnie was picked up by the school bus. If Winnie can go to school, we can have aging splendidly. That was our rule. So, those of you at home, we are glad that you are joining us. Special treat today. Dave Stark will lead us in our what we think is the 12th annual Christmas gala singing event. At each of your tables you have books and several pages of music, and all of you know Dave Stark very well. He has been here more than 5 years. That's all I admit to, so we'll leave it at that. Dave.
Thank you. More than 5. 5 times 8. I don't know. So welcome to those online that are catching it in real time or at some time during the holidays. We understand. And we're gonna sing a number of carols today. I try to change it up each year a little bit because, of course, I'm sure you remember what we sang last year, and but I do. So if for no other reason that it's nice to cover. But we also want to cover some of the familiar things. So we're going to start with "O Come All Ye Faithful." You got your books. Most of the things are going to be in the books. For those of you online, the music will be presented on the screen, whether it's from the book or whether it's from one of the sheets. So, and then we've got some sheets and I'll tell you when we're going to be using those for some of the things that we'll be singing that are not in the book. So we'll begin with "O Come All Ye Faithful." And just a note, this is, I picked this to begin because it calls us to Bethlehem. It says, O come ye to Bethlehem. So a whole handful of our first carols are all about Bethlehem, that have Bethlehem. So Bethlehem in Israel is about 10 or 12 kilometers from Jerusalem. That's not very far. That's sort of like a suburb in the Twin Cities. Today, about 28,000 people live there, but we can only imagine, evidently there is evidence of Bethlehem being mentioned in early texts as early as over 1,000 years BC. And we can only imagine it was a little village, a very simple place, but it was, as we know in our text, the city of David. It was, in the Hebrew Bible, referred to as the birthplace of David. So we'll keep that in mind, but just kind of in your mind, think of the setting, this little town of Bethlehem. I'm not in the right key here.
All 3 verses?
We're just gonna do the first 2 verses. You'll like this key better. Oh, come. The next one we're going to go to is, it is referenced in the book as a traditional Irish English carol. It is number 45, The Snow Lay on the Ground. And I didn't just pick this morning. And we'll do the first two stanzas. The snow lay on the ground, the star shone bright, when Christ the Lord was born on Christmas night. Beneath the rainbow's stormy moon, beneath the rainbow's stormy moon, beneath the Okay, and we'll now turn to another one about Bethlehem, O Little Town of Bethlehem. Now what we're going to do with this one is we're going to look at two versions. The one that we in America are most familiar with, to music by Louis Redner. But if we were sitting in Europe right now, or especially in England, and we said, we're going to sing O Little Town of Bethlehem, they would sing this English folk tune. Now that's a tune, if it sounds familiar, especially this year, we have sung that in worship a whole number of times, probably 6-7 times this fall, to different texts. So, and that one is an English folk tune that the English composer Ralph Vaughan Williams discovered and set to that text, the text by Phillips Brooks, a pastor. Okay, we'll start, and they're both in the same key, so we'll do two verses of O Little Town of Bethlehem that we're familiar with, and then we'll finish with the fourth stanza, which is on a sheet, O Little Town of Bethlehem, Forest Green. That's the name of the tune, by the way. Okay?
Silence
Okay,
Does anyone know why sometimes it's E and sometimes it's I?
I don't know.
We spell our church is Emmanuel.
Emmanuel would be Latin, I think, from the Latin. Greek?
It's the Greek and
Okay.
I is Hebrew.
There we, okay. Next, we have a sheet that has several of the things on them. This is on your sheet, Christ was born in Bethlehem, and then next to it, midst the deep silence. We're going to do those two back to back. Now, Christ was born in Bethlehem is in the source that I used, just listed as an American folk melody. My guess is that it has its roots as a spiritual. It's probably was taught by rote and not by singing. And my guess is that the roots are African American because of the embellishment. So I'm going to sing just the first phrase for you. Christ was born in Bethlehem, and in a manger laid. That's the last line, but you notice that Christ. Speaker went out?
No, I'm turning it on and off.
Oh,
You're
okay.
saying not.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm being controlled from the back. So, and slowly, and so this will have, as you can, think of something like "I Wonder as I Wander," or even, in some of the other Christmas spirituals that you might know. And this is one that you probably, many of you have not heard before, but it's a lovely little tune. So. Lovely little tune that I was not familiar with. And in the same vein, this contemplative mood of thinking of that time. It's the deep silence. Okay, a couple of things there that are maybe new or not things that you sing every year. And next needs no introduction. Number 30. Number 30.
Where's
We'll do verse 1 and 2. And number 20, Hark the Herald Angels Sing. Just the first verse. And page 12, the first Noel. Verse 2. Bear with me a little bit. I'm trying to transpose some of these to get them a little lower. A couple of them I probably could have taken even a little bit lower, but we're trying to get them in notes or in a spot where they are a little easier to sing. And so we're going to turn now to one that this is a German carol that some of you may sing in your families more often than some of the others. And this is O Tannenbaum, or O Christmas Tree. And we'll sing this in English.
What page?
This is page 32. Page 32. and verses 1 and 2. And then right across the page, number 33, O Come, Little Children. The Danish composer J.P.A. Schultz, sounds German, but look on the calendar, or look on a map and see where Denmark sits in relation to Germany, and you'll understand Schultz could very well be a Danish name. Verses 1 and 4 on this one. O come, little children. Okay. Now on a sheet that you have, it has music on two sides, and now we have, and the first one we'll sing is "Your Little Ones, Dear Lord, Are We," and this again with music by J.P.A. Schultz. His dates there are shown 1747 to 1800, and the Danish or Norwegian. You know, my grandfather came. I had a grandfather and grandmother that came from Norway in 1906, and which is kind of curious to me. And I wish, of course, he passed away when I was 15 years old, and many times I've thought through my life, I have questions I'd love to ask him, you know. But as a 15-year-old and younger, they didn't come to mind. But one of them, I later came to learn that Norway had been granted its independence from Sweden, where it had been a Swedish colony, in 1905, just 1 year before he came. And way back in 1817, I believe, they had written a constitution, but they had it on the shelf, ready to go. And then finally, Sweden released them as a colony to become their own country. Well, they decided, I don't know how they decided, but that they wanted to be a constitutional monarchy. And they needed to find a monarch that was had royal blood. So where did they go for that monarch. Not Sweden. To Denmark. And they got their first king, King Håkon. And my grandfather thought the world of King Håkon. And he had his Norwegian newspaper, the Decora Posten, that he would read. He would get weekly and keep up on what was happening. Well, I came to find out then that he was not the oldest son, so his older brother had gotten the home farm, which was right near the Swedish border. But he had to find a trade, and he became a tailor and had a very good friend who had come to Candy, Minnesota, and started his trade as a tailor, and wrote my grandfather and said, there's this town up the railroad line that has a Swedish tailor, but by gum, they could stand a Norwegian one as well. So he packed up his things and he came, met my grandmother and so on. So that town was Watertown, South Dakota. So the words here, Herkoma Dina Armish Small, are really Norwegian words. And he always told me that the Danish tongue and the Norwegian language were much more similar than Norwegian and Swedish. And he had grown up walking distance from the Swedish border. But the Danish language and the Norwegian language were essentially, he said, the same. So, then we'll follow that by turning the page over to Jeg er så glad for juledag. Verses 1 and 3. 1 and 3. Then we'll turn over to Jeg er så glad. Are you game to sing? And I know that those of you online, you'll have to sing the Norwegian, just sort of reading our lips, because I didn't print that, I don't believe. But I think we should sing the Norwegian, and then we'll sing verses 1 and 5 in addition. Okay? J-E-G, yay. So, la, ver. The H is silent. Julik veld. Okay? Let's try it. I won't go very fast. Jeg er så glad for julen, til dagen Jesus født. Da lyser stjernen som en sol, og englesang så søt. You can see that angel's song so sweet. Søt was sweet. I am so glad each Christmas Eve, the night of Jesus' birth. Then like the sun a star shone forth, and angels sang on earth. And so I love each Christmas Eve, and I love Jesus too. Okay, now if you'll turn in your books to number 17. This one, a German carol, and one of those that the words are perhaps a little different, a little updated from what they were. Good Christian men rejoice, but good Christians all, some translations use friends, but this in our book has good Christians all rejoice. But one of the things about this one, it has the same rhythmic feel as Yair Sugla. It's in 6/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that nice dance-like lilt. And get the key. Good Christians all rejoice with heart and soul and voice. Listen now to what we say. News, news, Jesus Christ is born today. Exodus before him bow, and he is in the manger now. Christ is born today. Christ is born today. Okay, I guess I only put the first verse in there. I was ready to go on. Maybe you were too. But the people at home don't have the words for that. Okay, now turning back to England, and we've moved away from that, a little bit focus of Bethlehem, but I was going to say back there in the first 6 or 7 things that we sang where Bethlehem was in the text and has remained, and it's interesting, I think. Here is a village in Israel, and yet it is held with such reverence that think of all of the churches that are named Bethlehem. Bethlehem Lutheran, Bethlehem Baptist. There are many of them, and it's just kind of interesting that a place is held in that regard, and I thought that would be something that to ponder. Well, back to England, and this is on page 22. Some of the roots are using red and green at this time of the year. The green, rich green holly foliage and the red holly berries, and that's spoken of in this carol. Let's do the first couple of verses here, and I figure out. Okay. Now, if you would turn in your books to pages 5 and 6, they're on obviously next to each other, but you have to turn the page. And oftentimes we do these, and I know that in the pageant, the children are singing the version, the tune that's on page 6. I heard them rehearsing last night, and it's an alternate, an alternate tune. And so on. And so we'll do that first today, and sing the first verse, and then we'll, actually the first, I think we do the first two, and then we'll turn to, let's do verses 1 and 2. I don't think the second is for you people at home, but probably know this by heart. And then we'll turn back to page 5 for the third stanza. I'm just going to mention that this is another one of those, like Little Town of Bethlehem, and obviously Away in a Manger, that has various tunes for it. And there's another tune, it starts like the Kirkpatrick one that we have, but it is Flow Gently Sweet Afton. And perhaps you've heard that.
It's twice as
So,
long.
and
It goes 2 verses.
then it has to put in 2 verses at a time, yeah. But it is sometimes sung to that tune as well. But so we'll do the Kirkpatrick one, and then we'll do the James Murray. First 2 verses. Okay. And then if you just turn back another page to page 4, Angels We Have Heard on High. Now, in past years you may remember that I particularly enjoy what we call a sequence in a melody, which is where you have a little fragment and then it's repeated, but it's repeated at a different pitch level. And that's what we get in the Gloria here and in a couple things that we're going to sing next. But the Gloria, you have this figure, and then it's, and again. And for this one, 3 times is enough, but then it comes back again on the next line. So we'll do, let's do the first two stanzas. So before we do that second verse, I'm just going to remind you, sometimes if you inquire, you get this reminder from Chris too. We see IN and then we immediately switch to English. In, but it's, the IN is still in Latin, which is een, not in. So if you knew that or didn't know that, now you do. So if we're singing a chorus, and it's because it's not gloria, but it's gloria. So the I in Latin is always an excelsis, no, excelsis. So I is always the double E sound in Latin. So here we go. Shepherd's Y. Shepherd's page 25. 25.
Bingo.
This is a Polish carol? Did,
Who said that?
that's what we need here is a good, you know, a bingo special, aging splendidly. And we could come up with some interesting prizes. That's great. Now, with this piece, we talked about these sequences, but in the middle of this piece, we have a lovely little sequence as well. And this is down in the third line. Swift are winging, angels singing, Noel's ringing, tidings bringing. That's just that little figure repeated. See, so you could go. So, an interesting thing, though, as I looked at this piece, we're going to sing it in just a minute, but look at the rhyme scheme for the text. In the first stanza, it's swift are winging, angels singing, Noel's ringing, tidings bringing. 4 words around those sequences that are all in rhyme. But look at the second stanza. It's thus rejoicing, free from sorrow. Praises voicing, greet the morrow. So there, the rhyme scheme is A, B, A, B instead of A, 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 A. Kind of interesting, not often found in the poetry of hymns and carols. Just a little bit of trivia that you could use at your next trivia session. Do you know a carol where the rhyme scheme changes? So, but this is
After bingo night, we'll do Trivial Pursuit.
this is a lovely, very intimate carol, bringing us back to to the manger scene. Infant holy, infant holy, for his good our present soul. Awesome holy, little knowing, Christ the babe is born of all. Swift are ringing, angels singing, Noah's baby, tidings bringing, Christ the babe is born of all. Christ the babe is born of all. You notice how when we do that, those sequences, how it builds the intensity. It builds the kind of builds the excitement. Okay, here we go, and isn't that just a lovely tune? And it's so, I think one of the things about it, which is true of so many carols, is the simplicity of it. Simplicity of it. Well, if you'll indulge me, I introduced to you a little carol that I put together last year, and I talked about how much I like these sequences. And so this is on the sheet, the half-size sheet, We Welcome Christ at Christmas. And I figured, well, it had run copies, so let's throw it out there again. But it does go through some of the things that we look for in our Christmas message. And that is not only waiting and welcoming, but looking for hope, looking for peace, looking for love, and wishing well and singing and celebrating with joy the birth of the Savior. And I remember going down a stairway, I don't know if it was at a church or a school recently, and there were the same words up there, hope, peace, love, and joy. And so it comes through in many of the things that we do. This, then, I'm just going to play, it starts. And then the sequence. And it finishes like it started. Okay, we'll just sing these short little verses all the way through. Okay. I think we're doing pretty well time-wise. I've got 3 more in mind. I think we've got plenty of time for that. So this is, and for those of you online, it'll be interesting to see what might be picked. Looking for one favorite. Does somebody have a favorite that we haven't sung? And we are going to sing Ding Dong Merrily on High. We are going to sing Silent Night. And we are going to wish each other and all of those tuning in a Merry Christmas. So, besides those, anybody with a favorite? Joy to the World. We have some, but we'll do it again. Go tell it on the mountain? Okay. And give me the number? 15. Okay. Well, and let's see if we can't get this. This is kind of high, so I'll try to get this in a little lower key here. I think I can do that. Yeah. Verses 1 and 3. How about that? Okay, page 11, which is Ding Dong Merrily on High. Well, I always have to pick this because loving sequences as I do, this is the king of all sequences. Yes.
Just shaking her head.
Anyway. And it goes on. So you know what we're doing. Okay. Ding dong merrily on high. And those bells are ringing. Ding dong merrily the sky is filled with angels singing. We're going to repeat that, but it's okay to take a breath when you need one. And we sing it because it's fun, isn't it? Yeah. But it's got some good text as well. Page 37, Silent Night. Now, I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but we gathered outside last night to sing carols, and it was something that we tried new, and I think everybody that was there thought it was a great success. I think we had somewhere between 40 and 50 people. We had a fire, and we had hot chocolate, and Chris led us and just called out, let's sing this, let's sing that. And we had a few people from the neighborhood that I think we put some little invitations in a few mailboxes or up and down the street. But anyway, or maybe they just came because they heard the singing. And it was a very nice community event, community building event, I think, too. There were children. They liked the hot chocolate and candy canes that were handed out liberally. So anyway, that was last night. And so we can, in our, even though it's not night and we don't have candles right now, which we will have on Christmas Eve, we can imagine the setting again of our lovely favorite Silent Night. I took that down about as far as I could so that we could all hit that last note. I think I was down at A with that. Okay, time-wise, I think it's a little after 1:30, so we've been doing about an hour together. Page 49, we can wish those that are not with us today, but are enjoying this from home, and maybe as the days around the holidays continue, they will also be able to enjoy that with us. And so page 49, we wish you a Merry Christmas. And we'll do this. It's not marked this way in the book, but we'll use those first two lines as a chorus. So we'll go back and sing the first verse as a refrain at the top there. Okay.
We
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good singing, good singing. Oh,
I think we set the record for the number of Christmas hymns, but with my memory, I can't really tell for sure. Christmas presents for you. There's a poinsettia on each table for someone to be selected. And so please enjoy that. And please figure it out. I have one here that will be reserved for the star of the day, Dave Stark. So thank you.
thank you. I also should mention, Joanne gave me a folder of a couple of things that we didn't have a lot of time for eating and so on, but on each table, there is a sheet of some fun questions or some fun, what would you say this, sort of coded phrases? Kind of coded phrases on trying to come up with the name. And our thought was, well, if each table can see how many they can get figured out. But if you're interested in that, go ahead and take that, and I have a few more copies if you're interested in taking one. It might be a fun thing as a family gathers or something. Yeah, take a picture of it.
And this is to invite you to January Aging Splendidly. We have a guest, Tiara Sidney, who is a friend of Sue's, sort of a foster child. She is now in law school, and it should be a very interesting presentation. February, we have a guest pastor coming from Wisconsin who is famous for his art and sermon. I tried to get Mary Laurie to present. She says, nope, but have this guy. So I said, fine, that's what we'll do. So join us in January and February, and thanks very much for toughing it out through the snowbanks, and Merry Christmas.